It will be a struggle.
We don't want to see it on eBay either.
Okay, what's the beach property?
Yeah.
The big rig comes away.
I said that.
He was praying for the big gust to come away. His praying was better than mine.
I said to Bruce earlier in the week that we really need to talk about rules. Sailing is one of those unique sports where we don't have umpires, we do not have referees, we have none of that stuff, and we are supposed to be honest, upright gentlemen, or ladies, if you are a lady.
So we did that on every count then, by the sound of it.
Like butchers, honest upright.
Unfortunately, there will always be incidents where there's two differences of opinions, but also unfortunately there's also people who don't operate by the rules. Most of you probably haven't noticed, but in the last about 4 or 5 weeks I decided not to do any turns. A fairly good reason for that. I just got sick and tired of doing turns and no one else doing anything. It's not a good situation or a state for our club to be in. You all know when you've hit a buoy, you all know when you've hit someone port and starboard. Just go off and do your turn. Nothing worse than watching someone foul you and not seeing them do a turn. It really is infuriating. Particularly when it's blatant. If you look at the racing rules, they are written in such a way that there is always a party who has the honour and privilege of giving away. The other day there was an incident between Peter Reeve and I think it was Bruce from memory. I didn't see the incident, but I gather Bruce was coming into the windward mark on starboard and Peter came in and tacked inside him. Bruce got rather upset, quite rightly so, and Peter claimed that he did it without any problem at all. I would not like to have to be in Peter's shoes at a protest meeting. The rule is quite specific. It says a port tack yacht shall keep clear. That simply means that the starboard tack yacht doesn't have to do anything. Now if you want to defend that, you've got a lot of defending to do because all the starboard tack guy's got to say is I had to come up slightly to avoid him and you're done like a dinner. The onus of proof is with the port tack yacht, not the starboard tack. He doesn't have to prove anything. The port tack has to prove that he did his manoeuvre without interfering with the starboard tack boat. And if you look at all the rules, they're all written similarly. There is always one area that has to prove that they're innocent. And inevitably, that's what the rules will eventually come back to. Many years ago, there was a protest between Gordon Lucas and John Cassidy. And I actually chaired that protest. And eventually, we disqualified Gordon, I think, from memory. He was a bit upset about that, and afterwards he nailed me and said, you know, how come? And I said, well, it's quite simple, Gordon. You went in there claiming an overlap. You had to prove that you had the overlap. And all the crews gave very, very great evidence, and it all stacked up. There was that side and that side. And I said, unfortunately, you didn't prove it. The onus is on you to prove that you had room. You didn't prove that to the satisfaction of the committee, therefore you got disqualified. It was contract, so it had to be someone at fault. So when you flick through the rules, think to yourself about who has the onus of proof there. Who is the person who's going to have to stand up in front of a jury and prove that I didn't force an overlap? There's a few classic areas where this happens, and over the years there's been quite a few classic people disqualified. Let's just look at the common ones again. Starting. Spend a lot of time, what's the best way of putting it, sitting on your heels, listening to people argue about how bad a horseman you are. You don't want to do that. Really, there's only one escape out of this. You can't do that. That's a no-no. Come back and have another go. That's assuming. There's another 12 boats lined up here, ready to go through as well. Which inevitably there are. So the key here is to make a decision early. So I'm going to be early, go through here and come back and then find a hole. May well be the hole after everyone else has left, but at least you'll start leaking. Don't do that. What happens is you then down here, all these other boats, and you can quite easily end up being protested by 6 boats. It's just silly. See that you're going to be early. Go through the line, get out early, get away. The other one that causes lots and lots of hassle for children. Straight forward starboard. Okay. Very obvious from a long way out that there's going to be a conflict. Where do you want to be? You can continue on port tack until you have to tack, and then you tack here, and you end up down here. By the time you tack, our pace is not down there anymore. Generally about back here somewhere. This boat, this windward boat, if it's all clever, he would just slowly ease down here. A little faster. Anyway, that's exactly where he wants to be. But you absolutely cannot do anything without it. So think in advance. You get in this situation. Where are you going to go? The easiest thing to do, you assume, if you're on that tack, you're on the favoured tack. If not, why not? best thing to do here is is you stay on the favoured track, you're still on the favoured track coming out the other side, and it's a non-crisis, easy situation. The only thing that complicates it is other buttons. So again, you need to be aware that this is going to happen and make allowance for other boats. Much better off taking 2 or 3 transits, getting in a big boat fight up here, than 4 boats in a collision situation. Believe me, that is very, very slow. Another one that seems to fool people more often than it should is why room at the leeward mark. Leeward mark here. Boats running down here. Slightly different because we have the magic 4 boat length area around this mark. As you can see, I'm not an artist. So this guy's saying, keep up, worrying me. And the windward boat here has to keep clear until they get to the magic circle. Once they get to the magic circle, this boat did have rod wire, now has to use this guide room to sail through the mark, out the other side, in a seaman-like manner. So, there's a big change at this point here about who has to keep So, often when they have mark room out here somewhere, mark room lies at the 4 boat length circle, not the 4, not the So, there's lots of yelling and carrying on at this particular point. And it really only applies at the 4 boat length circle. There's a couple of other interesting things about this. Sailing along in here quite happily. Rather than giving him mark room, sailing along here quite happily. So what happens if this guy keeps going? Who's at fault?
Not a seaman like Hannah. The inside boat's at fault. This is not a seaman.
The inside boat, yeah. He has room to round the mark in a seaman-like manner, but after he has gone round the mark, he also has to sail his course. Now, if his course, I assume, is probably a jibe or whatever here, and to sail off into the sunset in this direction, having claimed the mark, room at the mark, the penalty then is to actually assume his proper course in a fairly fairly smart manner. Can't fluff about in there. He's been asked for and been given room. His responsibility is to get out of it. So, you know, that's another area where we have a little bit of disagreement between the relative skippers. Thank you, sir. You often hear skippers say, assume your proper course. There are only a couple of patches in the rules that talk about a proper course. One of the patches talks about the start, and it says there is no proper course before the start. So there being no proper course before the start. When you are lined up to start, there is no compulsion on you to sail in a straight line, for example. The other area where it comes in is running. The boat's running down here. This boat is going to be quicker than this boat. It doesn't want to go to windward of it. So it decides to come down there and sail here. Not allowed to sail below his proper course. So it can't come down on you. Can't come down here, get a gust and come down and do that. He would have a devil's own job of going in front of a jury and proving that that was his proper course. Having sailed 200 or 300 yards on that course, all of a sudden to go to the jury and say, oh yeah, well, we thought we'd go to the other side of the river and you know, it looked good. Well, it probably wouldn't wash.
Even with a change of wind?
No, you'd be battling to get it past the jury that thinks. Well, one of the problems we have is often our protest juries or panels are not overly experienced. You know, they run around looking for people who can serve on the panel. Not all of them know the rules well enough or whatever that's required. So occasionally they'll be lucky, but probably not a great chance of doing that. So that's sailing below a proper course. It doesn't happen very often. It does happen, particularly with radio controlled boats, because they tend to run down breeze and therefore you get hooked. Right, anyone got any questions?
The obligation of the lured boat there to gain an overlap.
Sorry, what?
The obligation of the lured boat to gain an overlap in low lengths when you down.
Okay.
No, just running down to a buoy. The obligation of the lured boat in the river going up.
The other lured boat. They've humanised the rules. You used to, if you were the little boat, active boats, back when I was young little lad, the rules allowed you simply to do a U-turn here and go bang. And these guys had to get clear. You can't do that now, because they've brought in rules that say you've got to give the guy room and opportunity to avoid you. So, you know, that's out. Not allowed to do that anymore. One of our Olympians of many years ago, they were sailing tempests, which were horrible ugly things, but he went round the windward mark and didn't put a spinnaker up. And as the boats went over the top of him, he just luffed them up and hit them, and you're out. It wasn't all that clever, because I don't think he finished another race legally. The fleet went out and got him. So, you know, along with all sorts of other things, we do have a certain amount of honour in the fleet.
Amongst thieves.
Righto, any questions on rules?
Yeah, right in the beginning, you said the onus of proof is on the person who's claiming mark room. If there's only the two of you and there are no other witnesses, and there's a dispute as to whether you have got mark room, how do you prove it? You can't really.
Well, then simply gets back to who has the proof.
If the two of us are going down and I'm inside boat and I'm claiming mark room, and you say, no, you haven't got it.
Well, inside boat,
Yeah.
claiming boat has to be able to prove that it's got mark room.
How do you do that?
And if it doesn't prove it, well, don't like the chances.
Yeah, but how do you prove it if there's no boats around?
Well, unfortunately, if you can't trust the people you're sailing with, then you can't. The interesting situation in Tornadoes happened to us. We were running down to the leeward mark. We had to beat the Germans to win the World Championship. Down to the leeward mark.
Got it down, guys.
Hacked the gaggle of it. Following one of the younger Germans. Got to right about Rio. Started to go around the mark. We were right behind him. Rio. And as he got round the mark, he got his crew to stand up and hold the boom out. So he stopped. And we came up and just touched his transom. And he jumped up and down and carried on like a pork chop. Said, you're out, go home, you know, which we did. It didn't do a lot of good. Unfortunately, at the next World Championship, someone forgot to say loudly, we're on starboard, and hit him. He was on port and they were on starboard, and to do that with a tornado just rips the bottom out of the boat very, very cleanly. He went home. So, you know, while it might be a very clever thing to do on occasions, it's also not very nice. People remember the nice way of putting it. It's exactly the same, you know, they remember at your local yacht club. You know who obeys the rules and is honourable, if you like. You know who's not. You know, so it's just a case of being aware of what's around you. Like it's one of the things you see happen fairly often. Starts. Get big feet start. Wouldn't want to start here if you're a runner. Some people point high, some people point low. So the last place in the world, if you're a low point you want to start is here. You know, the guy underneath it will simply squeeze you out and poof, gone. And if you're a pinch, give you a pointer, you don't want to start there either. You know, all these other guys are going to give you dirty air. So you have to, think about this, about, where you're going to start. That all comes into the factor of who's lifters, not, who's around you. So you've got to be aware of who's around you, because you must avoid that situation or that situation. The bigger the fleets, the worse it is. You start sailing in 81st position out of 82 boats. Believe you me, it's a long way back. Hell of a long way back. Alright, queries on the rules? You're all sweet innocent little people, are you? You don't break any, is that right?
Pinch mark for him?
Sorry? Pinch marks?
Pinch marks.
I'll take them.
Comes round here and overtakes right? Okay, so he's not allowed to do that?
In this club he's not allowed to do that.
Oh. Okay, so the next question is how far can this boat here go up here? Because like you can't overtake when he's right out here. What's the distance?
Okay, let's look at the problem we have with hitch marks.
You've just run my arm.
Yeah, I'll put it back.
You need to sign it, maybe.
The problem we have with hitch marks is in this club we don't exactly put our hitch marks exactly 4 boat lengths apart. And that's the biggest problem. We look out there and we think those two there will do for windward and hitch. Now, sometimes they're 4 boat lengths, sometimes they're 6 boat lengths. So what we did is we made a rule saying the windward mark will be those 2 buoys. So you've got to go around both of them. And there will be no overtaking between them. So then in answering your first question, area here is a no overtaking area. You can overtake, but you can't get the mark room at this mark, at the hinge mark. So you can almost overtake the other boat, but once you've done that, you're not entitled to any mark room there. So that makes it a bit difficult, particularly when there's 15 other boats.
But if the bloke's out here, right, this bloke whips up inside and he's still up with the rest of the round, what's the score then?
The score quite simply is, if he can overtake these guys and go around there, without fouling anybody, he's fine to do it. But he's got to be able to get around this mark without needing any extra room. So he can't call for room here.
Yeah, can we just clarify, you can overtake if you're going on the outside, but you cannot overtake on the inside.
No, that's
train mark.
Yeah.
Going on the outside.
You can overtake whatever you like, yeah, basically. But you ought to go out there and get up with the accident. You can't overtake them. So the idea was simply to save any confusion at the hinge mark. If the hinge mark is 6 boat lengths away, then it becomes another mark. And and therefore the rules start again halfway across here. There's six boat lengths up, and all of a sudden there's 4 boat lengths here. Got this marked room approaching here, where the inside boat has an inside overlay. And if you're sitting up here guiding a radio controlled boat, if you can tell me within a metre whether that's 4 boat lengths or 5 boat lengths, good on you, because I can't, and most people can't. So the whole idea of the rule is to clarify and make it a workable solution. But basically what we say in this club is you can't overtake between that boat, that buoy and that buoy, unless you go right round the whole lot.
So the hinge mark can't be any more than 6 boat lengths apart, otherwise they just become ordinary buoys. Like for instance, say these 2 buoys here, like these 2 buoys, this was the hinge.
The Russellton Regatta one year, and they had a situation where they had a course came from here and had to go to here. Now, the unfortunate part about it was that I had a mark in the middle here which had a required size. The other unfortunate thing was if you sailed straight from this mark to that mark, left it on the required size. So what happened then was, because it was laid out as the mark of the course, one guy went across there, down the mark, around the mark, continually on his merry way, in protest of the rest of the fleet. They didn't do that. The next problem was that the sailing instructions and the notice of rates, one of them said you shall leave this mark on the required side. I can't remember what it was now. And the other one said, the other one said you will go on this side of it. On so all the guys who did that had complied with, I think it was the notice of rates. And all the guys that did this complied with the sailing instructions. So the jury went away and thought about this for a while and went, oh dear. So what they did is they were rather ingenious. The only boat that did this, they worked out a time allowance, and gave him a time allowance, and otherwise allowed the finishing order as it finished. So, you know, everybody had some degree of justice. But, you know, these things happen. Create problems. Give you an idea of how unreal some protest battles are in the Olympic Games where you reckon everybody gets, you know, pretty right. What about it? The boy was there, the committee boat was there. No problem with that. Starting gun went. I fired 2 shots here and pulled up the first substitute, General Recall. And there was 4 of us, I think, down there. So we all stopped and started having a chat. Then realised all the guys at this end had to stop. So we continued racing and found them to perform all that well. The jury looked at it and said, oh yeah, you know, it only cost you 30 seconds, so it really doesn't matter. And let the race stand. You know, this is a competition where the day before 21 boats had finished within the first 30 seconds. You know, they could get it horribly wrong on occasion. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just, you know, that's what happens. So, other problems?
Actually, I've got to get going because I've got to get going because I've got to get dinner. Right? For diplomatic reasons.
Any other things you'd like a thought on or otherwise?
Bonjour.
Silly.
Thank you, Warren. All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you.